Hello ladies and gentlemen, WW2 here, and welcome back to another Let's Build episode for our World War II German airbase. In this episode, we'll be going ahead and working on a few different things, but mainly just trying to build up some of this industrial area, which is going to house the shops that would be able to support the aircraft in their mission, as well as some logistical areas such as some warehouses and also a little bit of a train depot that we have going in here. Which will be used for offloading trains and stuff. Now, the building you can see being built here is that train depot. This is going to be the building where trains would theoretically be able to pull up into it and be able to offload cargo easier on the ramps. I'm not 100% sure if the design is going to be like this. It might be a little bit of a longer building, or it might just be basically staying the same. We do end up moving it because I felt it was a little bit too close to this. I didn't want the railway tracks and all that stuff interfering too much with our industrial area we'll be working on, so I decided to go ahead and just kind of move it back further. But again, it's subject to change. It could obviously move back a little bit further. And also in this episode, we're going to be going ahead and working on some of the facilities on this base. So, for example, we do have the kind of support vehicle facility, so kind of a vehicle maintenance type of facility. It has a lot of the aerospace ground equipment and all that stuff. And what's hard about World War II and building is we don't really have a lot of information regarding how maintenance units were laid out, how they are. So I'm kind of taking modern day, I guess, U.S. Air Force kind of separations or shops or groups and kind of implementing it into this base. Obviously, just again, a lack of information in terms of this, and for all the research I've really been able to do, I haven't really been able to find too much on like what kind of shops or what kind of things you would have, but I imagine it would probably be pretty general stuff, such as fabrication shops, engine shops, armament shops, and aerospace ground equipment shops. So the pretty much the standard stuff that you're going to have really universally on any kind of airbase. So you'll see here that this structure gets built up here. We end up moving around, and then we start working on a little bit more of the areas which will house some of the shops that will be supporting it. I'll let you enjoy the rest of this footage, and I'll pop back in here and there to talk about things that we are working on. And at this point, we have the little warehouse, train warehouse, I guess you could call it, completed. And I went ahead and started working on some of these industrial buildings I was talking about a little bit earlier. Now, these buildings here are really not meant to be anything special. They're pretty lackluster in detail, pretty simplistic, and really just kind of standard industrial buildings, pretty boring and bland. We went ahead and did just a big wooden type building here. Looking at German bases and just kind of stuff in general, it seemed they like to use wood structures a lot. It could be due to the fact that a lot of their bases were constantly being moved, and during the later parts of the war, the Allied air supremacy really made them have to basically move airfields and erect, very simple structures. So I mean, that could be part of it. Part of it could just be wood. It was just in abundance. Who knows? Either way, I decided to go and do a wood building here. I thought it felt good, kind of helped add a color contrast to the area. And this whole facility here is basically designed to be the kind of ground support vehicle facility. I guess in modern terms it's AGE, which stands for Aerospace Ground Equipment. And basically this just houses a bunch of the equipment that would be used to help the aircraft stay in the air, such as ground power units, heating carts, de-icers, just anything you really could think of would be kind of in this yard that would be supporting the aircraft. We even have some tugs here, some kind of tractor type vehicles, and some generator trucks and stuff like that, just kind of thrown in here that would, maybe not realistically be used by the Luftwaffe, but has a place on the airfield and makes sense in terms of it being used. Obviously, we don't have a perfect, sit down of everything that was used and everything, but I felt that the vehicles and the stuff I did build were stuff that you would actually see, and you'll see that a little bit more once we dive into taking a full walkthrough of this. Anyways, I'll let you continue to enjoy the time lapse, and I'll see you guys here shortly. And welcome to the in-game portion of this Let's Build series. We're going to be going ahead and basically take a look at everything that's been new, some of the stuff that's been done on and off camera, and just kind of talk about some future plans and all that stuff like we've done for the past 3 episodes. So I wanted to get this video out. I would have liked to have got a lot more done, but it's been a while since we've done our last Let's Build video. And, you know, I can't remember exactly if I mentioned it or not in the overall kind of the voiceover and during the time-lapse, but I was... had my second COVID shot, was sick last weekend for most of it, didn't really work on this project at all. Have had a lot of Patreon requests I've been busy working on as well, and also in addition I went on vacation, so all that stuff just kind of colliding at one point just really kind of kept me from working on the Airbase too much. But now that things are kind of starting to calm back down, I'm not feeling sick anymore, we're able to start working on some stuff some more, and I'm happy to get into it. I just want to release an episode for you guys just to kind of, you know, again, remind you this series is still going on. But yeah, we have a lot of a decent section kind of started, and this is kind of just the foundations for what's going to be a really cool section of the base, and probably going to be one of my favorite ones, the industrial type area. Now, this area here is going to be is basically located right behind our hangars. Typically on air bases, you're going to have your warehouses and your support facilities for the aircraft located very close to these hangars. Obviously, maintenance is a huge portion of any type of you know, military or Air Force or just aircraft in general, as aircraft are very stressed airframes that do experience a lot of problems, and these shops are needed to make sure that those problems are addressed. So we have these different shops that we're going to have shops such as engines, armaments, we're going to have probably fabrications as well. So I'm just trying to take like real today type facilities and implement it into a World War II type theme. Obviously, it's probably not 100% accurate to how a base would be set up, and obviously, you know, this base isn't intended to be 100% accurate. We try to be accurate where we can, but obviously there's a few things here and there we're going to stretch to make an airbase look good and kind of take some creative liberty on. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and kind of dive into what we've been working on and talk about this area a little bit further. So basically, this area here is directly behind our hangars here, so it's right next to our fighter divisions, and also will be our dive bomber facilities here as well. So I think this is a perfect area with these hangars nearby to kind of, you know, move into that type of, you know, all these different shops and support facilities for these aircraft. To kind of go ahead and jump into this, we have our facility here that you saw being built during a portion of the time lapse, which is basically going to be our ground equipment facility. So this right here is going to basically house a bunch of vehicles and, you know, support equipment that would be used in a aerospace type capacity. So for example, we have some cool trucks here I designed a while back for basically generator units. They're actually used for searchlights and all that stuff, as being able to provide power to them. So we actually used some of these trucks because I felt, hey, that'd be kind of nifty to have a generator truck. I mean, that would seem pretty useful. So we have one right there, and obviously we are going to have searchlights around the base, so it makes sense to have this here. We have these little trailers, as you can see over here. Some of them might be like little pump trailers or, you know, hydraulic or something trailers. I'm not entirely sure. I just looked up some pictures and tried to kind of make these. These really aren't based off of any trailers really in particular, and they're really just kind of just random trailers that I felt, you know, might be kind of looking like they would be used in an aerospace type capacity. Of course, we have some Opel Blitzes around here, which are going to be like one of the main logistical trucks around the facility. I also kind of made like a little scene here of a Opel Blitz being opened up and the engine being worked on. So you have like a little workbench, a little work center, this small crane here, and all that. So this is kind of a fun little area I thought would be a nice little touch to add in to this to kind of help it make it look a little bit more like the stuff's being worked on. We then have, again, some random equipment here. I believe these are actually bomb carriers, so kind of random. And we also have this, which is actually a tanker car that's used for V2 rockets. And one of the things I talked about early on was I did want to have some type of V2 launch facility close to the base or in the base itself. So that's definitely kind of a little foreshadowing of what's to come with that. Again, we have like these generator trucks. We have these larger generators on basically a wheel system, so very similar to like the Flak 88s and how they did that. We have some of these these tracked vehicles. I forget what they are, but these are kind of like artillery tractors, so I'm kind of putting them in here as possibly being like like tugs or something like that for aircraft. We then have some smaller vehicles here, which also again are designed to be like generator trucks, so we have those as well. More big generators, and these kind of little tanker cars here, which could be like oil or hydraulic fluid again or something like that. It's actually funny, I took this from the back of a concept design, or actually it was actually an actual prototype that they made, was a submersible Panzer IV, which could actually go underwater. It had a snorkel, and this was kind of like, I believe, probably like the oxygen system or fuel, extra fuel or something. So I just took it off that, and it works pretty good for this. And then, of course, more equipment and stuff like that. So this facility, this yard is going to be expanded a little bit further. I'm probably going to have a narrow line of vehicles over here up against the fence or just random stuff. And it's probably going to extend a little bit out this way as well and kind of fill in this space nicely. But we'll just have a bunch of random equipment there and kind of just a yard of stuff that they would be using, pretty much. Some cool details I'd like to kind of take a look at is the power lines. So as you can see here, I did expand the power line network, so we do have the power lines that run down alongside the hangars here. I might end up moving these a little bit to have them kind of go down the center right here. I think that would look a little bit better than up against these hangars here. Not 100% sure what I'm going to do with that just yet, but I think the power lines look pretty cool. They actually connect up here, and you can actually see where the lines break off. We have a line that connects up to this shop here to supply power, and a line that actually goes down this way and actually does connect up to these light poles, because, you know, underground electricity wasn't really as common as it is now, and I feel like this just adds so much more to the overall kind of appearance environment. You're just kind of standing here, you see all these power lines and stuff, really kind of puts you back into that, you know, 1940s type theme. This section here of the base is just going to be full of just a bunch of random equipment, cargo, just stuff here and there. It's not going to be too busy, but it is going to have just some random stuff running around here just to fill in the space, but basically just designed to be kind of just again, kind of a similar yard to over there, but just more kind of less designated, I guess. This shop right here was an outline. Unfortunately, I did lose some of the footage of actually detailing up this area and kind of outlining these structures and stuff like that, because you kind of saw in the time lapse where we just kind of randomly picked up on that structure. But yeah, this right here is going to be probably the engine shop, so I do think that's probably what's going to end up being here. So that's kind of the plan for this facility here, and this is something we're probably be working on in maybe the next episode or something. So yeah, cool facility there, and once we have that facility done, I'll kind of get a better idea of how far I'm going to expand this yard and kind of what I want to do further in terms of adding more shops and all that stuff. So kind of have to wait and see how everything kind of comes together in that front. Then we move on to the big structure that was built, and this right here is kind of interesting building. I'm not exactly sure what it's entirely designed to be. It kind of has a train depot type vibe to it, but I also kind of feel like it could be a pretty good like cargo unloading facility, though it's not very long. So that's kind of where I'm stuck, where I'm not exactly sure what this is going to end up being. Obviously it will be something, but it's cool nonetheless. I thought it was a cool building. Definitely has that very nice industrial look. I think personally it looks very 1940s if you ask me. But yeah, it's kind of cool. We have the train tracks that run alongside it, a little bit of a loading dock right there, and these train tracks here will actually converge up with this one as well. So not exactly sure how what I'm going to do with this fully yet. I'm even considering maybe moving this back further and having more shops right here before that. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but I love the addition of the train track here. I'm thinking about putting like a few like abandoned, not really abandoned, but just kind of flat cars that have been sitting there for a while, or something, and just kind of really putting some cool detail in here, putting a train maybe pulled up here or something. There's a lot of possibilities to do, but I think the tracks here just kind of really reinforces that this is like an industrial area. Because when I think trains, I think industrial, and this right here is obviously very much so industrial. So I think the trains look good. I'm really happy with the way that looks out. Kind of helps divide the flight line from the kind of more industrial shop area. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really want to cover in this episode. That's really all that we built. I know it wasn't a huge grand building of anything, but we'll definitely have stuff like that coming in the near future and all that. So I do apologize for the lengthy time in between these videos. I am trying to post at least one weekly, and if for whatever reason we do get more accomplished in a week, then I'd be more than happy to post two. This upcoming weekend is going to be a long weekend for me. It's a 3-day, so I'm hoping that I can get a little bit more out for you guys in that time span as well. But anyways, that right there is going to pretty much cover everything in this video. Hope you guys did enjoy episode 4, and I'm very excited to see you guys for the next episode, episode 5. Not exactly sure what we're going to do just yet, but obviously we will see when we get there. Anyways, let's go ahead and end the episode, and of course leave all your comments, suggestions for the Airbase down in the comments below. Love hearing about what you guys think should be added, and I'm always interested in getting more ideas to expand upon this. And of course, tell me what you guys like. What you guys think looks cool on it. Things you may think should be changed, or anything like that. Anyways, with that, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been WW2 German, and I'll see you guys next time.